hello to everyone who happens to watch this video. Dead by Daylight was always a stressful game, especially for killers. I'm a guy who's easily stressed, and in the recent times I became more fearful of not being good enough, which prevented me from doing important stuff, but also made me afraid of PvP games. The reason I wanted to share this trial or make this video in general is to commentate my mistakes and show what being afraid of nothing provokes, so that I may share some tips to help you if you are like me. The game has clear problems, I won't deny that. There's problems in the design, both for survivor gameplay and for killer gameplay. Bones are absolutely ravaging the game right now, and not for the better. And some survivor that I talked to, good survivors, because they were high MMR and they didn't run meta builds because a meta is the most effective tactic available, but it's not necessary to win, and most of the time it saps away personal expression from a play style. But anyway, as I was saying, many good survivors told me that even in their opinion, generator fly too fast and bones are damaging the game, and these two things combined do not make for a very enjoyable experience, because you basically have only one thing to do and you bomb rush that thing. And for killers, because killers like myself, is because every time you make a mistake it feels personal. It's everything's on you, and it's 1v4, so every single mistake you make at the current moment, in the current state of the game, pushes you down a cliff and accelerates you toward your defeat in record times. So, as I was saying, I made this video to try and give people who, like me, do not have the right mentality to play this game, but would still like to play it because they are fascinated by the concept. If you are burned out of the game, there's only one thing you can do, and is do not touch Dead by Daylight, otherwise you'll just grow even sicker of it. It's totally fine to be burned out of the game, and it's totally fine to dislike the options that the developers are taking and or the direction the game is going. So the game you're about to see is me versus 3-man survive with friends Claudette. The problem that I have with the game in general are toxic behavior, which I shouldn't care about, because I play League of Legends and I completely ignore the toxic behavior even without muting there. And bully squads, not that I met many of them, because I used to play in 2016, 2017, but I have barely 100 hours under the belt, so I have not met many of them. The reason why I'm afraid of bully squads is because in a period of my life where I was stressed, and some other private reasons that it's not the case to bring up here. I basically, the first time I touched the DbD, and I was reluctant to do it because I didn't like the game at the time, was when an old good group of friends insisted on me downloading it because they wanted somebody to play killer. The reason is that they wanted somebody to play killer and bully him. Another friend of mine used to play with them, but he basically destroyed them all the time. And so my first game, I went with all the Tombstone Meyer and Tough of Air. I saw two red addons. I was like, ooh, shiny. And yeah, they brought keys, map offerings, all the decisive strike, which was a nightmare to deal with, and you had to dribble the survivors, and all that kind of stuff. And you can imagine how well that game went, and so it left a mental scar on me. And recently, I wanted to pick up the game, but I still do it like 1-2 matches and then dropped it completely because I feel dread whenever I press ready, and it's for all the wrong reasons. Right now the game is starting, so I'll commentate on that. So, this Claudette. This Claudette was a very good looper, and I made several mistakes during the game against her. First, I did not drop the chase immediately when I saw that I wouldn't be able to get her so easily. And I didn't try to pressure other players until it was a bit too late. And second, as you can see, first gem popped in the matter of minutes. And second, I tried to basically hit her with Punishment of the Damned, and I basically hit her once or twice this game because she knew exactly what she was doing. And so right now you can see the first example of overextended chase. And I basically decided to... I started to panic and I made mistakes, but then I decided to, well, let's go and try to chase other players. So right now I'm trying to straighten my head, and I said, okay, let's hook Kate so that she can still be tormented and I can tunnel her afterwards, because like it or not, Pyramid Head is a tunneling killer. You have to tunnel to use his kit to the maximum potential. I opted to not tunnel the Kate to actually build up pressure against the other players and trying to get some hooks. Right there. That is peak panic. I missed the easiest punishment of the damn that I could have had in my entire life, and this basically proved me for the rest of the trials. Later on, I will make another very, very bad mistake that I would have never made in normal circumstances. Sorry, circumstances. Right now, the tip I can give you, which you probably heard it like a million times, is to not chase the strongest player unless it's a survival with friends with no weak link. That's because if you are in my same boat, what you're going through is I've got to get this player. I've got to prove to him that I'm just as good. And that is the wrong mindset, because one, you shouldn't and you mustn't care about what these people or your opponent think about you, because if you are a pro player, there's a reason you have an image to uphold, a reputation. But this guy that you will never meet in real life or anything else or that sort of stuff, their opinion, their cockiness, like this Claudette that teabagged me, I just simply nodded at her, and she's the one who escapes because she stays hidden all the time. I basically never see her. Their opinion is worth nothing, and if you let this take power over you, you will end up making more mistakes, losing the game, and feeling even worse about yourself. And I get it; it's a natural instinct. Defeat the strongest player, or defeat the one who's been BMing you, but it's not a good mentality, because at the end of the day, whether you have an ego or not, it's gonna leave an unwanted mark on your pride, and pride is beautiful, but it's also a very, very scary thing. So another thing is that's frustrating for killers and sorry survivors, but this is a video for killers. I can't talk about your problems. I don't play your role. I don't enjoy playing it. But as I was saying, are the meta perks, the Savage Strike, Borrow Time, Dead Hard, and well, yeah, I agree. They can be bothersome to face, and but you have to understand that these perks also they could be tweaked or maybe even made into base mechanics, but let's not talk about this kind of stuff because it's ugly. It's ugly stuff to talk about. It's complicated, but they are kind of necessary for the survivors. Otherwise, you would be able to tunnel everyone out of the game and instantly. And trust me, even as a killer, that's not fun because I don't feel that your skill is rewarded. So even if you know that there are those perks, my suggestion is treat them as if they were always base kit. Don't overthink about it. Don't be like, oh, they could have phantom perks. No. The there are many more frustrating things to face in the world, in games, or in games in general, and the fact that these perks exist should not bother you for a simple reason. If you are bothered by the existence of these perks, you are actually going to underperform, because look at this. I watched Othdarva, Dowsy, and even True Talent. I like the three of them, but what's the difference between all of them? Othdarva has fun with the game by playing his way and goofing around a bit sometimes, but he is gonna tell you that the game has problems. He's not gonna deny that. Dowsy usually takes the game very seriously, but he has fun doing that, and he's an extremely high MMR, so he should be even more stressed than us. And True Talent, despite being a very good player, sometimes even gimps himself, because he's too much focused on saying, oh, there's this, there's that, the survivors have an ego. And I mean, it's true, I agree with many things he says about the game, and there should be someone who point these things out, because if there's no bad guy, stuff never gets fixed. But making those things the obsession of your games is a detriment, both for your stress value and both for your overall enjoyment of the game and the performance. Right now, back to the game. The exit gates are powered, and I decided to keep this Claudette here until the endgame collapse stops or come to a close. And this play actually helped me to turn the game back around, because I calmed myself down and I managed to do good. And the same thing happened in games after this, where I was basically doomed from the start, but I pulled it back around. And right now, a friend of this Claudette is going to make a play that will condemn them both. Another thing that, in my opinion, the game does poorly is basing the value of the player on kills and on escapes, which is basically the most stupid thing you can do, because the points you actually make are what's worth, because you can, as a survivor, basically carry the game and die because you wanted to help others, and you are punished for it, because that's how the game works. And as a killer, because you can be a god at mechanics and objectives, but you faced a group of survivors that actually synergized themselves pretty good, and you could do nothing because you could not counter that combination at that specific time, because that's how Dead by Daylight works. It's RNG based. You never have the best of the best all the time, or the best options all the time. Another advice I can give you is to not trust people who tell you that playing meta is the only way to win or have fun, because it's not true. First, there are plenty of people who demonstrated that even at a high MMR, it's possible to win or have fun even without using the meta. It's all in the mentality. Second, because Ruin is the worst regression perk you can bring. The second that the survivors are going to see curse the hex ruin, they are going to cleanse it, and you will not stay at low MMR forever. Trust me. And unless it's like a game like League of Legends, in Dead by Daylight, you are not going to stay at low MMR forever, unless you have really, really severe problems. And I mean that seriously, not in a mocking way. I mean seriously, like learning very heavy learning disabilities and other things. And third, because playing the meta, in my opinion, puts another big psychological stress on yourself, because you're saying, oh, I am playing the meta, I must win at all costs right now. Take it from me, I'm a guy who in every single game likes to put in the effort to win, but I'm not desperate for the win. I'm not going to be like the meta. I have to pick up the meta. I have to use the meta. What are the meta perks? What are the meta items? No, because it's many times, in my opinion, the meta is actually boring and saps away the skill expression from a player. You will never, in my opinion, see a survivor with the meta perks that is actually very, how can I put it, very impressive, because they basically play all the same, and you will never see a killer running all the meta perks being extremely impressive, because they basically play all the same. Well, maybe a bit more, because there's mechanical skill involved in the killer gameplay with the power and all of that stuff, but still it's very, very mild, in my opinion. You are allowed to have your opinion. I'm completely fine. I'm not trying to change your mind or anything. I'm just trying to give you some advice on how to not be stressed while playing Dead by Daylight, or how to get in the right mentality, because it's something that I also am trying to do, and I'm doing it step by step, which you should also do it like this. As for the rest, well, this is the end of the video. I made a longer version before, but Share Factory didn't like the part where there wasn't any gameplay, so for some reason it cut it off. And yeah, this is basically the second time I'm remaking this video, and well, I hope it has been useful to you. I hope it shined some light on you, on why maybe you aren't enjoying the game right now, or if there was something that prevented you from bringing your A game. So thank you for taking your time to watch this video, and I hope I hope that that you will find your way to play the game in a way that makes you happy.